I guess the only way to start is from the beginning.
Yes.
Pickle! Hit the air raid sign. It's time for Monday Morning Fallout. Monday Morning Fallout, of course, when we overreact to the football weekend, and so good we got to do it twice, and quite a weekend to overreact to here in week 2 of the Texas high school football season, week 1 officially of the Texas college football season. A lot to get into. Start with my 3 big thoughts. Thought number 1, wipe the slate clean. We spent a lot of week 1's aftermath kind of marveling at all of the upsets and all of the chaos that came about. And don't get me wrong, a number of teams that we thought were contenders continued on what is a treacherous path. South Oak Cliff dropped to 0-2, right? Aledo dropped to 0-2. Lake Travis dropped to 0-2. A few of them. But for the most part, I think what we learned in week 2 was that week 1 for a lot of teams was just a blip. Just a nice, figure things out. I'll give you an example. College Station. And you were even talking to me before we came on the air about College Station. College Station did not look good against Lovejoy.
No, they did not.
In their season opener. They did not. But lo and behold, they go and they drill Fort Worth Nolan Catholic to get right? Feeling much better now about the way things are going there, right?
Yeah.
Who else? Shiner. We thought, big concern. They're playing a 3A Vanderbilt Industrial, who usually plays from tight. Nope. Beat them by more than 40.
Yep.
Right? Refugio had a nice bounce back win after obviously struggling in week 1 and losing. They bounced back in a big way and got that offense cooking against Corpus Christi London, a 3A team. Right? A lot of teams used the week 1 to buoy themselves back to get ready in week 2.
Right.
I think Crosby is an example of that.
Yeah, no
Crosby,
kidding.
who got clubbed.
Drilled.
They got clubbed by CE King in week 1. Went and got a really nice win over Fort Pitt Marshall.
Well, I mean, heck, even Allen at that point. They got drilled by Bosco and then turned around and really put one on CE King, which we thought was really good.
Absolutely. And so, it's always that delicate balance in the early going of the season where we don't want to overreact to a result, but we also don't want to underreact to a result. Now taken in concert as the first 2 results of the year, I think for a lot of teams that we were maybe starting to reach for the panic button about,
right,
we're a little bit calmer about.
Yeah, and now week 3 is imminent, and it's like, okay, now we still have questions.
And we'll find out a lot more.
Yep.
But those are the things that, to me, you have to give these teams, if you're going to talk about the concerns that you had coming out of week 1, you've got to be willing to wipe the slate clean if they perform in week 2.
Absolutely.
That's the case. Thought number 2, grand opening. So a lot of the college football season, a lot of the college football talk is going to be about what was the game of the week. I think not just in the state, but in the nation, which is UTSA and Houston going in triple overtime and Houston winning it. I thought that was a lot of fun. What I took a look at across the state of Texas was debuts and what we saw. For example, it was the head coaching debut for Rhett Lashley at SMU. And I thought it went really well. I thought they looked really good.
I was there and can say it went very well for Coach Lashley and his ball club.
It was the debut of Joey McGuire. Yep. And I would also say, I would lump in there, offensive coordinator, Texas Tech offensive coordinator, Zach Kitley. As they put one on Murray State. Don't get too crazy about it because just Murray State.
But that was the convincing win that we were wondering if we were going to see.
If they would get, right? They looked.
They scored the most points out of any of the Texas college teams this weekend.
It was the. No, they didn't.
63, right?
Baylor scored 69.
Nice.
It was the debut. It was the debut of new Texas A&M defensive coordinator DJ Durkin. And while I have some questions about the Aggies on the offensive side, specifically in the trenches, coming out of that game against Sam Houston, I do not have questions about the defense. They looked fantastic. It was the debut of TCU coach Sonny Dykes, and I thought they looked pretty darn good.
In the second half. the first half was a little rough.
But looked pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
It was the debut of Texas quarterback Quinn Ewers. And I thought overall he played pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was you put him at the top of the Heisman race.
Right.
But I thought that overall he played pretty well.
Yeah, they'll get an actual test this week.
Yes, absolutely. And so that was where my mind kind of went with a lot of these games is like, who are these new pieces we've been talking about over the course of the last 9 months, basically, and they finally, rubber finally met road. And I think for a lot of them, for many of them, it was a positive overall positive result for them,
mm-hmm.
for the most part. And thought number 3, 2 and woah.
I don't like to give you credit, but this one was clever.
We spent a lot of time talking about the 0-2 teams,
mm-hmm.
right? Teams that, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're 0-2.
Mm-hmm.
I can't figure it out. Here's my question. Let's focus a little bit on the teams that we did not expect to be 2-0 at this point.
Mm-hmm.
How about the Boys Ranch Rough Riders? Boys Ranch is 2-0. They have a game this week against Stinnett, West Texas. Boys Ranch, of course, snapped a 49-game losing streak last year.
Mm-hmm.
They're now 2-0. When they won their opener, this is true, when they beat Ropes in the opener,
mm-hmm.
that was the first time in a decade that they've been above 500 at any point.
Wow.
Okay? They're now 2-0. And if they beat Stinnett, West Texas this week, and I think they're gonna.
Yeah, they've got a good shot.
They will be 3-0 for the first time since 1976.
Whew.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
That's one. How about, who else is 2-0 that's, like, it's not surprising that Crawford's 2-0.
No.
Great win over Centerville, but not necessarily surprising that they're 2-0. What about Leander?
Mm-hmm.
Leander is 2-0 for what feels like the first time.
Yeah, which is wild because I think Rouse is 0-2 now, right?
I believe that's correct.
I mean, we did not see that coming.
Right. Donna North is 2-0. They've never won more than 2 games in a season.
So things are trending well.
San Antonio Lee is 2-0. How, after snapping a 22-game losing streak, is 2-0? Pearsall is 2-0. Right? A lot of these programs that we haven't seen in quite some time are suddenly off to hot starts. So as much as we want to pay attention to what's wrong with Lake Travis, what's wrong with Aledo, oh my gosh, like, can they get the wheels back on? Let's take a moment to celebrate some of the teams that are a little bit surprising in being 2-0 to start the year. El Paso High is 2-0.
Yeah. They won no games last year, right?
I think they went 0-10, maybe 1-9, but yeah. Anyway, there's 3 big thoughts. 3 helmet stickers. A helmet sticker for Royce City running back Sam Mitchum. Carried the ball 25 times, 268 yards, 3 touchdowns on the ground. He also had 48 yards and a touchdown receiving for the alma mater of our own Cameron Worthy. TCU linebacker D. Winters was really good against Colorado. I have questions about TCU, but I do not have questions about D. Winters. 5 tackles, 2.5 tackles for loss, a sack, a pass breakup, and a quarterback hit. He was all over the field.
Yeah, they needed him in that second
Colorado.
half.
He was really, really good. And a helmet sticker to Andrews quarterback Ashton Galvan, who goes 13 of 14, 213 yards, 5 touchdowns passing, and he also ran for 136 yards. Helmet sticker, Andrews quarterback Ashton Galvan. 3 teams to watch. How about Belleville? Belleville's 2-0. And Belleville, remember, losing all those players they had last year, right? Robert Briggs and, golly, who was the other guy? I got tweeted about it, and I want to make sure I look this up. But they were, Richard Reese.
Yes.
They lose those guys, and everyone's like, oh, man, what's wrong with them?
Well, because Belleville was an underrated team, or we were like, oh, well, they would come back with a target on their back, but they're losing their 2 best players,
lost,
so
exactly
maybe not.
Well, they drilled Stafford 55-0.
Yeah, that
last
was
week.
impressive.
Extremely impressive. Big game this week against Navasota, but keep an eye on Belleville. I'm inclined to buy a little bit of stock in the Brahmas. Incarnate Word, G.J. Kinney is unbeaten as a head coach as he leads the Cardinals to a victory in their opener. They rolled past Southern Illinois and looked good doing it. Quarterback Lindsey Scott was fantastic, 50-22. They were really, really good, even weathering a rain delay. But they took advantage and looked fantastic in G.J. Kinney's opener.
If you want to hear more about that, quick side note, if you want to hear more about that win or any other small college win, the Republic of Football is now doing a once-a-week small college preview show or recap show with Mike Craven and Corey Hogue, and so they just released that now. I think it's on TexasFootball.com, so go listen to that after you get done with TFT.
Bang. And how about Breckenridge? The Buckaroos are 2-0, and they've got a huge game this week against Cisco, and they can really kind of solidify themselves as not just a little darling, but they beat Childress like a drum last week, 35-8. And they've got wins over Jacksboro and Childress. They beat Cisco this week, and I know it's a 3 over 2A, but still, they beat Cisco this week. That's a strong 3-0 from Casey Pierce's Buckaroos. Keep an eye on them, and especially if Jim Ned's going to be down, because Jim Ned's 0-2. Jim Ned's coming down. Maybe District 3 is there for them. 3 to see, 3 games to keep an eye on coming up this weekend. The game of the week, in my opinion, Spring Westfield and Galena Park North Shore, live on TexanLive.com. These are two teams that have been wrecking machines. They've been clobbering fools, and now they're going to square up. Remember, Westfield was the only team to beat North Shore last year. Does North Shore get some revenge? Great quarterback matchup. Love it. 11 a.m. Saturday. I don't know if you heard about this game.
No, this one completely just real under the radar. This is a hipster pick for you.
Alabama visits Texas. Measuring stick. I don't think anybody expects Texas to win this game.
No.
But if they can keep it close, that would bode well for where Steve Sarkisian's.
And I'll go back to I'll make it public once again. If Texas wins this game, watch out for UTSA the week after that. I'm sticking to that.
Okay. I don't think I don't think you need to worry about that. I don't think they're going to beat Alabama.
Right. But if they do.
And finally, out east, Dangerfield and Timpson.
This one's tasty.
Dangerfield and Timpson. This was the game when we were at in Beckville for Timpson and Beckville to open the season. When it became clear that Timpson was going to run past Beckville, we were like, oh boy, 2 weeks from now, Dangerfield comes to town. This is a huge matchup, state-ranked matchup between two small schools, 3A versus 2A. This is a game that is going to be very, very tasty.
Yeah, Terry Bussey from 2 games has 15 touchdowns, 6 passing, 9 rushing.
15
nice.
touchdowns
How crazy
in 2
is that?
games.
That's insane.
Dangerfield, Timpson, that's 3 to see. That's Monday Morning Fallout.
Thanks so much for watching that video. If you would like more and to be notified when they come out, go ahead and click that subscribe button right down there. You can also watch Texas Football Today every day live at noon on TexasFootball.com, Facebook, Twitch, and right here on YouTube. For more of the best coverage of Texas football in the Lone Star State, go to TexasFootball.com/subscribe.